run, motherfucker.
Oh yes sir, long-time followers of The Bitch will have no doubt about my sweet feelings towards the Salty Dog Northwich, so it was my honour to record this podcast there on July the 15th, right before the Kirks took the stage. My martyrs month was the man Chris Mundie, who had been on my hit list for a while. I had a hunch that it'd be really good value, given a rich history stretching back to Northwich Scar books, the handy jack-offs and the shortcuts. Then he went off touring the world for a decade and Oi Legends the business. Finally he's come back, opened this place and is giving more back to live music than you or I ever will. I had a mint time recording this and I'm pretty sure it shows, so enjoy. And it goes without saying, I need you to check out the Salty Dog on all social medias, and your attendance there soon very much expected. Capiche?
Bundie,
Hey up mate, how you doing?
how are we doing? Not too bad. Thanks for taking the time to sit down and chill with me.
That's alright.
We're here in the Salty Dog. Long-time listeners of Rock Radio Bitch will have heard me wax lyrical about the Salty Dog, so it's an honour to do a poddy here. But just from my observations of the time we've been here, there's a lot of people looking to you for leadership and guidance, which is a turn up for the book. So thank you for taking the time to sit down and chill with me.
You've caught us on an unusually busy day, to be honest. we've had a World Cup final, a Chinese meal, and there's been like raft racing and duck racing and shit like that.
We have. It's a bit of a first for me. I'm sneaking this in before we play for you in a bit, before the Kirks take the stage. We've just met the Croatian sensations, who are No More Idols.
No More Idols.
They're playing after us, so they've literally just come in, dropped the gear off, and said that they're going to go explore
See
Northwich.
the sights.
See the sights of Northwich. So I'm expecting them back in very soon. Yep, could be any time now.
I mean, it's a Sunday, so the Salt Museum isn't open.
What about the Tartar? I was going to say steel place, but we went and had a close-up look at that. The Tartar factory.
I mean, if you're a fan of sort of 1970s pipework,
You've had a dilapidated building.
Yeah.
It looks like it's on the way down. That
it caught fire over there. I haven't had to close the windows.
There you go. It's not a dull moment, is there? So, and again, this might be a little bit much of a stretch of the imagination, but there'll be some people who won't know who you are. Believe it or not. I find it hard to believe.
It's no.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement in rock and roll?
I'm known as Chris these days. I was previously known as Bundie for a lot of years before I had to start like signing things.
You retired?
I just had to like sign things like invoices and stuff like that.
Oh.
And it's always weird if you introduce yourself by your nickname. You just sound like a bit of a prick. I don't know if you've ever when you meet somebody for the first time and they introduce themselves and they go, oh yeah, my name's like I don't know, like Firefly or something.
Yeah.
You automatically know you're not going to go on with that person.
Exactly. You have a little feel for them.
Yeah.
Why Bundie? Because your name's Chris Mundie.
Yeah, I mean, it's as straightforward as that. Married with Children, remember that program?
Yeah.
Al Bundy.
It's not a Ted Bundy thing.
No.
Okay.
Rhymes.
Yeah.
I was in school at the time. That's all it took, really.
Oh, these kids that they doesn't take much for them to.
Well, there was about 6 Chris's, so every Chris had like a nickname. So there was me. There was like Webby. There was his second name was Webb, obviously.
It sounds you've got off quite lightly then with Al Bundy.
Yeah, it was alright.
Cool, right. So go on, you were telling us a little bit.
Started playing drums in bands early on, like we all did. Playing around the sort of Cheshire circuit, as it was. Very late 90s, early 2000s. It was a rich time. I think it's only a matter of time before we get our sort of 1995 style documentary. Our American hardcore. If there's filmmakers
waiting for that
who want to do it,
you
know, it's. I mean, maybe it's something you can do. I don't know. But yeah, no, we used to played all over, doing the all dayers for like £6, petrol expenses, all that sort of stuff. We used to play at Macclesfield quite a bit at the underground.
The George?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you haven't talked about George. So this is the shortcuts.
Yeah,
there's a poster, I've got a poster somewhere where I remember you're listed on the same thing as us. We're not spelt right, because Tilly, who did posters, was dyslexic, which, is maybe not assigning the right resource to the right jobs, but there you go. But he had the shortcuts right, like that.
Yeah, well, before we were the short, without going like too Spinal Tap on it, before we were the shortcuts, we were the handy jack-offs.
Ah, okay.
When we were very
talking.
much... Yeah. Back when we sort of used to have like... We were sort of 16, we'd like, we bought trilbies, we played ska music, that sort of thing, and then, hit the heady heights of 18 and wanted to be taken more seriously, so we became
Isn't that just it with ska music? And I know there's a lot of people who play ska, but I like it. They say like weed is like an entry drug.
Yeah.
Ska's like an entry level, isn't it? Like that.
We all had that Sublime album. We all had it, and it was great.
Entry level punk rock, and then eventually everybody's just like... bit childish, this. Bit silly now.
I think it was more just like an energy thing, like, because with the ska stuff, there was this expectation that you had to put on this like sort of show.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of counterintuitive to being a guy from the north of England. Like, guys from the north of England, they don't want to be wacky. They don't want to be like, they don't want to be sort of the clown. They're happy to have a laugh, but it's kind of a different sort of humour.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I guess there's like the sort of an element of being like trying to be too cool or whatever. Because at the end of the day, we played melodic punk rock, which a lot of people did and do, and it was great, and I like doing it, and I still love it to this day. But I mean, if you walked into a room and we were playing, you wouldn't have probably remembered us. I mean, whereas you would have got in like the band with like the 6 trombones and the dancing,
all the brass,
like the guy on a unicycle or whatever. They're getting remembered.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. All the little shtick. Did you have any brass? Did you get that far?
We had a trumpet player called Johnny Hygiene on account of the fact that he had a Renault 5 and he smoked about 40 Lambert and Butler a day, but in his Renault 5 with the windows up, and he had one of those, remember those like sort of puffer coats? Yeah. He had one of them but without the sleeves. Yeah. And so he'd be in that, so he'd have like all of his clothes on.
A gilet.
All of his clothes on in a Renault 5, chain smoking. And like, if you couple that with like the general smells of your average 18-year-old lad, that's why we call him Johnny Hygiene.
Where is he now?
Selling cars in Blackpool.
Fantastic. Good. I'm glad he made something of himself in the end. He recovered from that.
Yeah, so we did a bit, and then, we kind of went on, and then the inevitable sort of, stuff's like life.
I can feel life coming in here.
But I mean, Sammy, who obviously he's always liked to travel. He was the singer, the Shortcuts. So
how does he like to travel?
He does. So he left to go and find himself on a gap year.
Yeah. Has he found himself yet? Is he still looking?
Not on that trip. I think he did. He cycled to Australia years later, which I think was like a much bigger thing. But I don't know. I mean, like the gap year thing. It's like, I want to experience other cultures by spending my time with other Western kids in backpacker hostels run by like other Western kids.
Or he's having you there.
Well, no, you'll have mates who have been travelling. I've come back and gone, oh, Max, mate, like until you've been to like I don't know, fucking like Nepal. Yeah. Until you've really experienced Nepal. I mean, you don't understand how easy you've got it back here. You know what I mean? Like when you've had like experiences like me, when you've been to see the monks and the temples on like the bus trip from the hostel, it's amazing. Like I was with this guy and he was from like Nuneaton, and like we had this this sort of like spiritual awakening, and like that night when we were back at the hostel like doing Jaeger bombs, it was like we sort of transcended to a different level. And I don't know why I'm trying to explain it, because unless you've been there, you just won't understand. You won't quite get like what it's all about.
That's it.
Like that sort of shit.
High level stuff.
Yeah. And people really believe it. And like I've travelled and
you have travelled. I want to speak about that in a bit.
And I mean we'll get onto that, but I mean I've been to a lot of places and I've pretty much had the same conversations, like drunk very similar things, and it's it's kind of it's comforting that people around the world are kind of similar.
The same, exactly, yeah. So who was your peer group then, if you want to call it, back then? What were the bands that you were playing with?
I mean we played with the Kirks a few times. We played with we were always aspiring, I guess, to be playing with with bands like Leif Erikson.
Yeah, okay,
they were like
yeah,
they were like slightly because obviously they had their scarfing with the proper Gumbies, which was like obviously they took that to a much bigger level.
These are some names now. Just bringing it back.
And then like Leif Erikson came out. And Leif Erikson were great. They had that kind of like Leatherfacey kind of thing going on. And then you'd like read interviews with Will, and he'd like list the bands you'd like, and he'd sort of go Snuff. Only the early stuff, and it's like the idea that like he was like, I'm into this band, but I need to quantify that I was only into them when they were doing this. and when you're kind of younger, you kind of like that level of what's the word? I don't know. You like the idea that like somehow the thing that you're into is slightly more value to it than what other people.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, exactly. That's when you find a band that no one else likes. You try and own it a little bit. Yeah. That used to be half fun of it, wasn't it?
And it's kind
some
of
shit records. Yeah,
it's kind of weird, and it's like it's a little bit cringy looking back at it, but that's kind of what you did. It's like we went. I mean, I guess you guys probably did the same thing. We sort of because we were like a town. We were on like a train line that goes to Manchester.
Yeah.
So on a Saturday, say we'd get the train to Manchester. Yeah. And we wouldn't even go out at night. We'd get the train to Manchester. We'd go to Affleck's. We'd walk around it, buy nothing. Yeah. Go to Piccadilly Records.
Hang out.
Yeah, hang out. Pick up like a pile of CDs that you couldn't afford. Yeah. And then sort of whittle it down. And there's like this like weird sort of like.
It was good. Is it still there, Piccadilly Records?
Yeah.
Vinyl exchange. The one where you flick through and.
I couldn't handle that. That was too much.
Did you not? That was all about. It's like the TK Maxx of record shops.
It was just like the inlays on the road. There's no case. Yeah. There's no like you couldn't just click through it really quickly.
You've got to love it, basically. Yeah.
But you go in and we used to like so you'd have like CDs and you'd go through like the thank you list. Yeah. And then like obviously you'd have like, number 1 and 2 on the thank you list was always like Rancid, NoFX, whatever. So you'd look further down the thank you list and you'd get to like your, I don't know, like your 10-foot pole and you go, right, okay, I'm going to buy a 10-foot pole record because people know who they are because they're on the thank you lists. Yeah. But they're not Rancid, they're not NoFX, so not everyone's got it. Yeah. So when someone comes to my house and they're flicking through my CDs and they see 10-foot pole, they know that I'm a real punk rocker.
Yeah, you're going to get ahead of the curve on this one, yeah.
And it was weird, and it was, a twatty thing, a really twatty thing of being like, I want to like this band because other people don't. It's like so counterintuitive, and all the bands of that era must have fucking hated their fans so much for like being like, we're really into your band and we're going to do everything possible not to let anybody else know about it. But we want to see you play with like 10 of our friends.
Did you ever do the Winnington Rec?
Oh yeah.
You must have done Winnington Rec. I mean,
lived there.
That to us was sort of Northwich back in the day.
Yeah.
And we're doing this thing at the moment just on Facebook. You might have seen it. No, because we've got like a 20th birthday coming up. I've been putting a photo up every day from like historical bits of the Kirks for 20 days, 20 years, 20 days of the Kirks, and I'm due to get one up from Winnington Rec, but it kind of brought it back to me because that was a top gig. That was like a club, wasn't it? Like a social club, working man's club or something.
It was a cricket club. Yeah, but we all used to go. I mean, that was the first place I saw bands because I went to school in Northwich, so we were sort of like 15, and you went in and there was like a form that you ticked and it said, "Are you over or under 18?" So
they had 2 bars, didn't they? One that served alcohol and one for the kids. Like,
no, in the very early days, he gave you like a membership card, and it came to the post and it was laminated, which meant it was official. Yeah. And as long as you ticked that over 18 box the first time you went in, the next time you went in, you got a black stamp instead of a red stamp.
Holy moly.
Which meant that they just served you at the bar. Right. It was a slightly flawed thing, which is possibly why they don't do gigs anymore. But it was great, and they had some good bands playing. I saw like Dog Toffee played there, and they got a few like sort of like sort of new metal bands and stuff played.
It was busy. It was a guaranteed top gig for us. If you knew you had one coming up, like on a Friday and Saturday, there it was one of the first places that we played. Like back in the real early days, where there'd be like a pit and people would be going actually wild. And yourself, people. Most gigs are people just sort of standing there with their arms crossed, and that's cool. But the ones where people get excited are like, yes, here we go.
We had a band, Funeral Dress, not Funeral Dress, they're a Belgian band, Funeral Shakes. Okay. Which is the drummer from Gallows. Yeah. They came and played, and the guitarist actually made a point of saying, like, where is Winnington Rec near here? I played Winnington Rec in a
No
band
way.
like 10 years ago, and we played there and it was great, and there's loads of kids, and there was like loads of sort of guys sort of my age, maybe a little bit younger,
mental, yeah.
sort of like sheepishly looking at the floor going, yeah, we went.
Yeah, big time. I think it was just a place where all the kids with like fucking far too much energy could actually just sort of shake it off on the weekend.
And it was kind of, I mean, again, without trying to be too sort of rose tinted about it all.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because anyone who wasn't mainstream went there.
Yeah.
So you had like the guys like us who were kind of into like the American punk rock thing. You had the metalheads, you know, who had like, you know, they sort of just discovered Korn and stuff like that. You had like the sort of grungy sort of shufflers who just sort of, you know, had like the oversized jumpers and all that. And we were all just mates because we're from a small town and there wasn't a particularly big scene. So you know, you were like friends with the metal guys and you were friends with whoever, and it was kind of, you know, it was nice.
I think I'll stick a tune on at this point without actually sticking the tune on. This is something that we do. We talk about it, and then what I'll do, I'll just press pause and we'll look at each other for a minute and then just carry on talking. But the people will hear a tune. Probably stick something like the Shortcuts on. Do you have one that stands out from your time that was like, yes, that's our fucking hit. That's the one in the set that I can't wait for.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we actually did a video for one called Doesn't Matter, which I did. Yeah,
is it on YouTube?
It is.
Right. Okay. Good.
I'd go for that purely because the first, we did 2 records. The first record was an album that was about half an hour long. And it's kind of hit and miss. There's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff. The second thing we did was an EP which was 6 songs and was over half an hour long. So we kind of got a little bit prog, I guess. So whereas I quite like it, I don't think anyone listening for the first time will probably be able to like put up with it. So we'll go. It Doesn't Matter.
Sweet. Here we go. Check it out. Thank you. What I want to talk about, Mr. Mundie, is this place, the Salty Dog, because we're here. It's our 3rd time here, so thank you very much for that.
Pleasure, always a pleasure.
It's quality to have somewhere so cool, like down the road, really, for us. It's
half hour.
Close, exactly like that. And it's quality, but just tell me a little bit about how this came about.
I mean, it came off the back of the business, really. That the band came to an end, and I had my daughter was only very young, So I needed to be sort of home, and I've probably done more than I ever thought I would do playing in bands. And I just started planning it and kind of applied for finance and got given finance, which was
bargain. Yeah,
it was kind of a surprise. I was in a kind of weird situation where I was working a bit, doing like my sort of in between jobs that I was doing, working at a brewery, and and it was something I've always. I mean, everyone's always wanted to run a bar. Everyone's always wanted to run a bar.
Yeah.
And it's sat in the back of
those
your
things
head.
you talk about when you're pissed, isn't it? If I had a pub, it'd be like this, and you know.
And I kind of just thought, mid 30s. It's didn't really have any other sort of path to go down particularly. So I was like, well, might as well have a stab at it and see what happens. Yeah. And here we are, a year down the line.
So what was this lot then, prior to being the Salty Dog?
It was estate agents.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right,
so
okay.
Just offices. I mean, going back, it was one of the first Marks and Spencers outside London, back in like 19.
It's got history.
Yeah.
It's got pedigree.
It has. It's not as old as it likes to think. It's mock Tudor, so it's not that old. But yeah, it's been a bunch of different offices and shops and things over the years.
Good stuff. Now, some of the bands that you have on here are unreal, to be honest. And this is not me dissing Northwich in any way, but it's like similar to Mac. It's a Cheshire town. I think Mac's a bit bigger, but do you know what I mean? You're not Manchester, Liverpool, Newcastle, London, Birmingham. You're not on the big city circuit, but you're getting sort of bands in that you had Red City Radio, didn't you?
We did, last Thursday,
the other week. You have all sorts in. I've seen the posters sort of all framed like that. Is that sort of come through the business connections then? Yeah,
I mean, most of the punk rock stuff. I mean, bands like Subhumans we played with. Like UK Subs we played with. So it's kind of we knew how to get in touch with those sort of bands. I guess like the first sort of 8 months of running the venue, we were chasing after bands, and once you get established as a place that's willing to put on original music, people start coming to you. I mean, I always want to do the punk rock stuff because that's what I've always done. So like putting on punk rock gigs was kind of just a cool thing to be able to do. And I mean, it's never ever going to be a good business model to put on punk rock shows because let's face it, there's no money, and like the people who do go to punk rock shows have a habit of not wanting to pay to go to punk rock shows, and like
I saw the little piece of paper on the wall. I mean, because people that aren't familiar with the Salty Dog, I mean, fucking shame on you to begin with, but obviously,
do you know is there some shop that's cheaper here?
That's open on a Sunday.
Time is it? No, it should be a supermarket.
Tesco Express. Ask Sean about the bar. He might know.
Yeah, cool. That's pretty funny thought there. It's alright.
As if to highlight a point about like punk rock's not waiting to
that was it. That was it. I was saying. So you've got the bar area as you come in, then obviously like the stage area to the other side, or the events area, because I know you do a lot of stuff like the comedy club and, and the food. I've seen you like the curry club.
Yeah, we do like pop up stuff. I mean, like we do a lot of the kind of. I mean, we're a small town in Cheshire, like you said. We're not exactly like pushing the boundaries of like hipster cool. So when we opened this place, I mean, like I went for a brewery. We're into like the beer side of things.
We've got some cool beers on.
We do a lot of craft beer. We want to embrace the whole craft beer scene that's going on. And it's great to have different stuff, and we've got guys who come in specifically for that. But we were very aware that we couldn't be too out there. So the kind of on the business plan, it almost said we want to be a bar that if it opened in Chorlton, nobody would notice. But if we open it here, it's going to seem quite unusual. And that's kind of where we're at, really. It's we want to do stuff different. We want to be alternative, but at the same time, I mean, you've got to pay the bills. You can't rely on like punk rockers in their mid 30s with children to like come out every night and spend money, because it just isn't going to happen. But we've done some cool stuff like the comedy nights, the stand up stuff's really good. The guy that runs it is he's a professional guy. He gets some good acts. We've had quite a lot of indie stuff. We had a really big thing with the Charlatans a few weeks back. In May, where they're the biggest band from this area, and they came back and played the sort of Memorial Hall, which was like the big venue for bands for years. For the first time since I think 1990, and that was huge. So they sold out. 4 nights on the bounce. And he turned it into a festival, a town-wide festival. So we had all the support bands, instead of playing at their place, played here. So
cool, yeah.
So we had a band called Deja Vega, who were quite local, who were getting loads of sort of Radio 6 play.
Yeah.
We had BMX Bandits play, which was just, I mean, I didn't know a lot about them, I didn't realise how influential they were.
Yeah.
But we had them play, and they had, can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the main guy from Teenage Fan Club had been in the band originally and had rejoined them for this one-off show.
Yeah.
And it was just insane. Like Mark Radcliffe and Tim Burgess from the Charlatans were stood at the side of the stage, just sort of in awe of this band. Then the Saturday we had Paddy Considine's band played, which was just insane to have, like, you know, it's like, it's the guy from Dead Man's Shoes. And he's like doing like these massive front kicks across the venue.
Exactly, Well, the size of this, I suppose if you were like a music reviewer, you'd call it intimate. An intimate venue, but that's just perfect. So if you do catch an act like that here, then you're touching distance of what's going on. There'll be a few people reaching out to grab me later, I'm sure.
Oh without a doubt. We've had to draft in security later on.
If you would, people laying their hands on me, it's getting a bit silly. But what I was going to say is that I like the little sort of notice you've got as you come from the bar into sort of the band area that just says, look, you know, if you've got some money spare, just chuck £2 in this pot or something like that. I just think that's a good way of going about it.
Well, the only way, I mean, again, I don't want to sort of like go on about the negative side of things, but there is a kind of habit with some bands, and it tends to be bands that I don't know, it's almost bands you don't expect. Will just do like zero legwork and then turn up, and they'll expect just stuff. And they'll expect money and all this stuff. And when we started out, I wanted to be, because I played in bands forever. I wanted to be a guy that said, you're getting paid this much and you can have some drinks and it's all great.
Exactly. So it's all laid out.
And then the reality of it is, you know, and it's probably not going to be a popular opinion to have, but the reality of it is, a lot of people in bands, they want to come and they want to play their set. They want to get paid. They get mopey when there isn't people to watch them. But they don't bring anyone with them. They don't bring people out. And they don't watch other people's bands. It's like they'll play their set and then you won't see them again. Like, oh, this venue's amazing, blah blah blah. And you know, they're from down the road and you know, exactly. and it's kind of it's a weird one, and that's fine, you know what I mean? Like I'm not
take a little, isn't it?
I'm not saying that people have to come out to gigs, but it just got to the point where we were doing some gigs where we'd agree money up front, and we'd be losing money. We're a startup business as well,
and if you can't do that for long.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to get their fingers burnt a little bit.
So what we've done, we basically moved to like a bar percentage system. So it's like 10% of the bar is the stand. If we're not charging on the door, it's a standard gig. 10% of the bar, split between the bands. And then if we all have a good night, we all have a good night. If we don't, we don't. If that isn't something you want to do, that's fine. And you know, it's not an issue.
No, I think that's a fair way. I mean, this is small scale. We're not running a business, but every band tends to throw a gig every now and again. We're throwing one next week for our sort of 21st, 20th. It's on the 21st, people.
But don't age yourself.
Even I don't even like throwing a gig just in the hometown, because you just stressing about whether people are actually going to turn out and stuff like that. So if you're going to do it every week or a couple of times a week, then you've got to have a system, haven't you? So it takes that stress out of it, you know. Well,
like, having like original bands on, and it's not just punk rock. I mean, I'm crying out for promoters to like not punk rockers to come and promote. So I've got one guy who does indie stuff for me, Soft Lab Promotions. He does a month every night, he does a night every month. And it's great. He does all the promo. He advertises it. He turns up. It's a solid night, and it works really well. And I'd love to have like a little collective
of everything,
of some different scenes.
Because it just if it's a music hub, and it doesn't really matter what music is, but it's just a hub, then that kind of more. I suppose it just increases the odds of people just being there anyway, not being there for a specific reason, just being there. And that's how you get almost like a successful, inverted air commas, time scene.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people are going to be there anyway, no matter what. It doesn't actually matter who's playing. It's just
I mean,
a place to be.
we're kind of lucky. I mean, I probably sounded really negative a second ago, but we're lucky that we've got a pretty decent core bunch of people from like really varied sort of age ranges and backgrounds who do come down and check stuff out and will come and see stuff that's not within their normal comfort zone, which is great. So I can't really complain as much as I have been. It's just bands. The fans are great. The bands are pretty.
The best, the onset of a roll. Today coffee glasses, tinted by zero roads. Stop talking shit for the sake of it, or is it party opposed? Back in the day, when the streets are paved with gold, families get together, and kids did what they're told. No crop or braces, no bother foods, just girls and boys, dressed up in their Sunday best and never made a noise. Oi, back in the day, your so-called glory days. Oi, back in the day. The good old days are what we live in now. Back in the day, when the streets are paved with gold, families sit together, and the kids did what they're told. So take off your glasses, take it by zero roads. Stop talking shit for the sake of it, or is it party opposed? Back in the day, your so-called glory days. Oi, back in the day. Oi, the good old days are what we live in now.
I sort of wanted to cover off on the business side is this place. I mean, you've decked it out. It's your place, so the posters are everywhere from the tours that you've been on. I especially like the toilets as well. Someone seems to have gone and drawn devil horns on pretty much every version of you on the toilets, which is a nice touch as well.
Yeah, it was always going to get graffiti. I mean, the toilets was. I mean, I had a lot of gig posters from being in the band for 10 years. And the actual walls were just really bad, and there wasn't a lot. We couldn't paint them, we couldn't paper them, and then there was like the MDF bits, and then the bits that had been papered and stripped like 1,000,000 times, and it was like, well, I've got a load of posters. The easiest and most straightforward thing to do is just to like wallpaper paste these everywhere, and it kind of looks quite cool.
It's done the business,
and it was. Yeah, it was kind of nice. I mean, I was in the band for a long time, and it's stuff that would have otherwise just kind of stayed in a box in my room. So,
that's it. When I've been digging out these photos to stick on, I've sort of found a load of old stuff, and you go through it and it's mint, and you lose an hour or two, but then it goes back into this box, and then it'll be another 5-10 years anyway. I
mean, there's a sweet, I don't know, it's kind of, again, without being like too romanticised about the whole thing.
No, you get romantic, wax lyrical.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm coming in the morning, I'm like, I don't know, like, have a cup of coffee, like, nobody's here.
Yeah.
I like, drop little one off at school. I've come in, and it's like, oh, I've had a coffee now. Could do with a piss. Go for a piss. And like, I just catch like a gig poster, and obviously like Mick isn't here anymore, and it's just nice to kind of like see it, and you sort of remember like a funny story, or just like a little silly thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just quite nice. It just kind of like jogs your memory and go, yeah, you know what, that was like a really good time, and you know, we went to like loads of places, like we played.
Well, that's it. That's my main takeaway from these posters. You have gone fucking here, there, and everywhere.
Well, I worked it out because I actually did part of the eulogy at Mick's funeral,
right?
And before I did it, it was one of these guys where he wouldn't ever want you to sit there and go, what a great guy he was.
Yeah.
Oh, he did all this stuff, all that sort of stuff. He was the sort of guy that would just rip you apart, like, but with a smile on his face. And it was kind of cool to be able to do it. And it's like, well, obviously you can't go too far down that route because of the sort of the setting, but it was kind of nice. I thought, well, there was three of us who did it. A couple of his school friends, Steve Kent, who Mick started the band with, who was like his best friend forever, BFFs. I don't know if that's what you call him in South London. I'm sure he wouldn't be too offended by that. They were both quite upbeat and told funny stories, and I kind of just did the latter years, as it were, and bits and bobs. And in doing it, I actually counted where we'd been, and it was 36 countries over 5 continents. And that was just...
How many continents is there? 6?
7, I think.
Okay.
Like
You've not done Antarctica, no.
No, didn't do Africa either.
Alright.
But we did, a load of places we've never been to.
Yeah, no, you've done some absolutely insane places.
And that was only like the last 10 years. So prior to that, I mean, the business played in like Israel. Like, how many punk bands have played in Israel?
Exactly, yeah.
Not many. I mean, I think we were the first Oi band to play in Chile when I was in the band.
Yep. Saw that on Wikipedia. I had a little. Well, you've got Wikipedia. That says a lot, doesn't it? But I had a little goose at that.
Yeah, we did. We played like South Korea. And, it was cool. We did some cool stuff.
Go on. Obvious question, but what's memorable then out of these places? Tell me a gig or a country or something that's sort of like fucking hell.
Coming back to what we were talking about right near the beginning about people going on gap years and stuff. Like the truth of it is pretty much wherever you go, there's a punk scene everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what, for me, that's what's great about punk rock as a air quotations scene. Is you can pretty much guarantee that you can go to a punk rock gig anywhere in the world, and you're gonna be around people that kind of have the same outlook as you do. There's some differences, but very much the same. So if you listen to the same bands, you kind of you have the same aspirations, I guess, and all that sort of stuff, and you've all got. The Red City Radio thing's a really good example, actually. We played in Oklahoma once when I was in the band, and it was about the second tour I did in the States. And I remember playing there because the venue was called the Conservatory, and they had like the t-shirts with like famous album covers, but changed to be the venue name. And they had the black flag, the one with like the guy with a knife. Can't remember what the album's called now, but whatever it's called. And it was great. And I always remember that because I bought a bright green t-shirt because it pissed the rest of the band off because they were like, always sort of like pretty well. Fred Perry's, all that sort of stuff, nicely ironed. And it's like, well, you know what? I'm like, I was a fucking skate punk kid from Cheshire. Like, I'm not gonna be pretend to be like the fucking big hard, whatever. I'm like, I love the band. You know what I mean? It was great. And it was awesome being in it. But I think like there's no point trying to be, trying to act this persona. Because like it would have like I would have been found out pretty soon, like into like my first brawl, like that actually maybe I wasn't the real deal. But it was. So I had Red City Radio play 2 weeks ago, and they're a phenomenal band. And to be honest, it kind of passed me by a little bit. I think maybe they came a little bit later than I was being overly aware. I don't know. They were great, and like more for me for not getting into them earlier. But I was chatting to the singer, and he said, when you played in Oklahoma, you went for a meal before the gig, and you went to my friend's bar. I was sat in the bar talking to my friend. We all got talking, and you put me on the guest list for your gig because like we didn't have any money or whatever, and it was kind of like, well, that's just nice, and that's what's cool about punk rock. That's what makes it better than the other genres. I mean, I know people have got in trouble recently for like stating that fans of a certain type of music are somehow better than other fans of other music. I don't know. I mean, there's an element in there that it's like, you know what? Like these are the people that we want to hang out with because the same people turn up in different guises. It's. I mean, me and you were playing gigs together probably for like a decade before we even spoke a word to each other.
I'd say it's like,
we have loads of mutual friends, but it's just one of those things. You obviously never got into a conversation.
Exactly. When we both had cool hairstyles.
I don't think I've ever had it. I had hair for a bit and then I shaved it all off. Kept it shaved off for a long time. And then, like, it grew back a little bit, but it's never been cool. But no, that's like the great thing. I remember, like, Steve from Flatback 4 is a great example, because his band of Poe...
He's been around some time, as he's an old stager, old campaigner.
But they played at the Northwich football ground, which was the same sort of time as the Rec.
Okay, yeah.
It was like the alternative venue. They sort of bounced about a little bit. And his band had played there, and they'd been sort of likened to a band that I played in, and it was like, oh, that's kind of strange. And then we kind of passed by, never spoke to each other, and then it was a gig at the Thatched in Stockport.
Oh, yeah.
And we were both stood at the bar,
and
a Snuff song came on,
and
it showed that we both liked Snuff. And since that day, it was one of Dave Fungal Punk.
Yeah,
it was one of his gigs. And since that day, we've just been really, really good friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's a really nice guy, he's a really interesting guy.
Yeah.
And we're friends because we both like Snuff.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's, without that Snuff song coming on, it might have been like another decade of being in the same place and never having a conversation.
Exactly, so,
it's kind of cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
That Red City Radio story is pretty immense. Though.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, like, getting introduced to people was weird, because Mickey, obviously the business were around from the very early 80s, late 70s, very early 80s.
Yeah.
So they influenced a lot of the American bands of the early mid-90s.
Yeah.
So we'd be out playing, and, like, Greg from the Swinging Utters would just walk in to, like, the dressing room and be like, oh, hey, Mickey. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is Greg from the Swinging Utters. It's like, yeah, I know. Like, I know this because, like, again, reverting back to earlier in the conversation, I had, like, at least 10 of his albums in my hand at one point, and I had to, like, whittle them down to, like, the one that I bought. So I know, I've seen many pictures of him. Like, and you know what, like, a really nice guy, and he probably looked at Mickey the same way I was looking at him, and it kind of was all good. Like, the first time we played Phoenix, Mick goes, oh, Bundie, this is my friend Roger. It's like, I know who fucking Roger Mire is. Like, you don't have to tell me who he is, but obviously it's kind of cool to be introduced on like on that sort of on a what's the word? On a sort of level,
like an informal basis, isn't it? Like that. We're doing a cheeky agnostic front cover next week for our 20th gig.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Well, it gives me a chance to actually do me Roger Mire impression, which I think is quite reasonable. Yeah.
Well,
there's no point in trying to sing their songs and do your own style on it. No one's interested. No one wants that. Everyone just wants a straight out Roger Mire impression if you're going to do agnostic front. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Coming back to like memorable things, actually, that reminded me. We did like a month-long tour on a bus with Vinny Stigma.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, because he's got his own band.
Yeah.
So it's like Vinny and Mike from Agnostic Front. Yeah. And then at the time there was Mamaluke on drums.
Yeah.
Christ. Rob on guitar, and I was speaking to him like really, really recently, and his name just escaped. Anyway, like really cool bunch of guys. And we're on this thing, and it was just like Mickey and Vinny, because they were like the sort of the guys.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so bizarre to wake up, put your head out, and just see them like just talking shit, and like Vinny's he's just this ball of just insanity.
Yeah.
And it was just weird, like, looking at him from looking like he's been sick in the sink on the bus, and Mick's sort of like rubbing his back. Like, it was kind of like, these are like, like legends of punk rock. It's like,
you ever do anywhere, like, CBGBs, anywhere legendary, anywhere?
I missed out on CBGBs by one. So I joined in 2006, end of 2006.
Yeah.
On the previous tour in 2006, he played the last...
Some time then, wasn't it?
Yeah, the last Oi gig of CBGBs.
Right, okay.
I mean, I've got a poster from it.
Oh, why not? Yeah. Get into the toilet.
No, it's in my house. It's in the frame of my house. So like,
it's too good for the toilet.
If anybody asks, I tell them the truth. But I think for the most part, people are just looking, just assume that I was there.
Yeah.
So, I'm not gonna lie. It's just on this. That's all.
Exactly. So they must have liked you then, because when you joined, like in 2006, then it wasn't like, right, we'll have you for 10 years. Was it meant to just be a short term thing?
I was playing in the Hyperjacks at the time.
Okay.
And we recorded an album in Crew with a guy called Fish.
Okay.
Who played, he was in Discharge for a bit. His main band were the Skeptics.
Yeah.
And he was also playing in a band called Sexual Fire at the time.
Okay.
They were going to Serbia to to play
Exotic.
to play a gig with the Last Resort.
Yeah.
You can probably imagine what the crowd looked like. Fucking big guys.
Tough guys, yeah.
And basically the drummer couldn't do it, and he said, look, you can play drums.
Yeah.
Do you want to come to Serbia to play an Oi gig?
Yeah.
I was like, well, are they going to be Nazis, and am I going to get beaten up? And he's like, no, it's not like that. It's not what the scene's about. It's like, it's cool. I was like, okay. And like Fisher's a punk rocker, and it's all good. Anyway, like, long story short, it was Daz Russell from Rebellion that he organised the whole thing. Anyway, long story short, we got there the night before, went out, met some punks, hung out like we were just talking about. You know, one big happy family, all great. Fish is talking to this guy, and he's like, oh yeah, just come down to the gig. He's like, oh, I want to go, but like the local sort of like right wing guys don't like me very much. And Fish is like, no, it's not like that anymore. Obviously, the same spiel he gave me in fucking Cheshire in Crewe, where it wasn't. It was 2006. Everyone got on. There was no fucking BNP. There was none of this Tommy Robinson bullshit. Everyone had just forgotten about that and were just getting on with life.
It was quite a golden period.
It was alright. People were listening to ska punk. It was great. We all had trilbies. So anyways, he says to this kid, yeah, come to this show, it'll be great. There won't be any boneheads there. It's like we fucking knew. We were in Serbia, like the place was at war 10 years earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, of course, was
full
pissed
of
off
holes
people.
in the fucking buildings.
So 20 minutes into like the set we're playing, there's a bit of a scuffle. Afterwards, it chalks up to this kid that Fisher said, yeah, come down, it's fine. Some fucking boners turned up, saw him, didn't like him, stabbed him in the leg. You have to go to I mean, he's fine, he's okay. I don't know. Oh God, I mean, it was going to be a funny story. It said that it was like some Nazi stabbing a kid, which is just fucking horrible. But there we go. So anyway, off the back of that, Tosh was playing guitar for the Business.
Okay.
And a fellow called Robin was playing drums for the Business at the time. Yeah. And he's currently the drummer for Sham 69.
Okay.
He's played for Bruce Dickinson. He played for Faith No More on Top of the Pops. So somewhat overqualified for the job as like just touring Oi drummer. So they were looking for another drummer basically. Yeah. And they asked me, I don't think Robin wasn't available, or there was some reason why they needed just a drummer at the last minute. So I got the call, said, do you want to be in the Business it was like a 10-day European tour and a 2-week American tour.
Right, okay.
I said, of course. Why? Who would ever say no to that? Yeah. And it was meant to be temporary, and then ended up, it worked, and we all got on, and 10 years later.
So what was the touring schedule? How long were you away for at a time? Like,
I mean, the American tours were normally about a month long.
Right.
European ones, anything from like a long weekend to sort of 30-40 days.
So do you have to square it with a work? Did you have a job like where you're like, sorry guys,
I'd given up.
In a month.
I had the only time I really had like a proper job, like a salary job. I got offered a tour with the Queers,
right? And
I turned it down because I had work commitments. Yeah, and it was like, why? Yeah. Like, why did I do that? Yeah. So when the Business one came along, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I think I'd already handed in my notice actually. Yeah. And then it just sort of came along. Yeah. And, 100%.
Fair enough. Yeah, and not look back. Yeah, well, I think you made the right decision there.
Yeah, it was great, and again, it's like. I always wanted to do it with my band, and I probably held on to that band for longer than we should have done. Like Sam obviously, he got to a point where it wasn't really what he wanted to be doing. Yeah. He had other stuff he wanted to do. Other guys in the band were doing other things. Yeah. Like Cooley. Matt Cooley's now like a world-renowned tattooist out of Manchester. And, there was like people were doing other stuff. And I think I like kind of held it together, against people, almost like against people's will. Yeah. Like, it's like a hostage situation. Yeah. No, we've got gigs, we've got to do it. Yeah. Like, our people need to see us. All that sort of stuff. And I think when that came to the end, I sort of joined the Hyperjacks. That was great. And then the Business thing came off the back of that. And I don't know, I think when something presents itself, then just do it, I mean, without being like too sloganistic about it.
No, that's Joe. As soon as you said that, I thought, wow, I'm going to make that the subtitle of this episode. When something presents itself, just do it. Yeah. An hour with Chris Mundie.
Like lawsuits from Nike instantly. But I mean, it's a cheesy thing and it's stupid. And again, I'm from the north of England, and we're not supposed to be excited about stuff. We're not supposed to be like, you know what, this is cool. Yeah. But it was cool. And at the time, I probably didn't give it as much acknowledgement of it being a cool thing, because you tried to sort of play it down. I'd speak to people and they'd go, "Oh man, it's really cool that like this band's playing here." And I'd be like, "Oh well, like I've only joined recently." And, sort of like you play it down, and, because you don't want to be like the
immediately like I'm the man.
Yeah. exactly. And but looking back, it was a cool thing. Like
hearing some of the stories that you've just been telling me, I can confirm it was a cool thing.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it now, so I can talk about it. So yeah, it was cool. I did a cool thing. I was cool for a while.
Exactly.
And now, now the kids in the bar.
Hey,
just
do you know
looking
what?
at me
Owning a fucking place like this is a cool thing. You've gone from one cool thing to another.
It is. I mean, it's just a lot of very mundane aspects to it. But, but I mean, like it is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's cool that I get to put on bands that I want to see. And I mean, we're doing a gig tonight. We've got No More Idols from Croatia.
Yes, indeed.
We've got you guys who've jumped on. It's been a very last minute thing. There's been World Cup football. There's been everything. Like the Creep Show are playing 20 miles away. You know, it is what it is. But it's cool because you know what? Like we're doing a punk rock gig in a bar tonight.
Yeah.
And you know what else would you be doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Nothing. Exactly. You just get on the old Kirk's back phone. Right. A couple of supplementary questions, and then we'll wrap up and get on with the rocking and rolling.
Stage time was 1 minute ago, wasn't it?
Is it? Well, you know. What's this brewery that you keep on mentioning?
Tatton Brewery.
I've seen the t-shirts. The people there. So that's a cool place. Cool beers.
Yeah, great place. I worked there while I was touring. So I joined the brewery while I was touring. I was doing the deliveries. So I was a drayman.
Yeah.
Just great people to work for. And then Greg, who owns the brewery, he actually came on board with me with the bar.
Yeah.
So he's a part owner of the bar as well.
All right, cool.
So just great beer, really nice people, really supportive. Kind of, and again, they've like it's been really cool because he's kind of let me do what I wanted to do in the bar.
Yeah.
He's not sort of coming and going like, why the fuck are you booking like bands from Macclesfield on a Sunday night? Like,
this is not what I envisaged.
But it's been cool and he's been behind everything we've done. So
sweet, brilliant. Alright, thank you very much for your time. High five for the mic. Classic, nice one. Salty Dog, everybody. I want you to see your faces down here soon. It's a class place, you won't regret it. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Boom! That's a wrap, bitch lovers. It has been a quality few weeks that were topped up just now by the Kirk's 20th birthday party. Massive thanks to everyone who's come and shown us some love over the course of this month. August looking pretty roasting itself. It's got the Flare Witch project at the Banktop Tavern in Oldham. That's the 17th and the 18th, and we're doing the night of the 18th. It's gonna be top draw. RRB will also be back real soon because just like the Kirks, I have a responsibility to the masses.
Why don't you ask them what they expect from you? Why don't you tell them what you're gonna do? You'll get so lonely. Maybe it's better that way. It ain't too only. You got something to say. Do anything you wanna do. Do anything you wanna do. Don't need no politicians. Tell me things I shouldn't be. Don't need an optician. Tell me what I wanna see. No one tells you nothing.
Just ran out of steam, didn't we? Just all this like good feeling about sort of the young lads in England and all this, but it just came up against a cannier team, just more experience.
Yeah. I think they did good, you know. I mean, like the last time I vaguely remember 1990.
Yeah, same here. It's hazy. It's like it's where you're just starting to get an idea of what's going on. Like,
they're considered like this like legendary side.
Yeah, of course they are. Just because they made a semi-final and came close.
Same with like the sort of Lampard, Gerrard, that sort of thing. Like, they're like considered like these legends, and they never did fuck all.
No, they didn't do fuck all. The golden generation. But as a mate of mine sort of said back in the fucking wilderness years, 2010 to 2016, which was just, that's the bit that absolutely crushed everyone fucking giving a shit about England because it was that dismal. We used to at least make quarterfinals routinely, and then maybe you think, well, actually, maybe they were a good generation because you could just take that for granted and criticise if we're not getting further. And you see how shit can be. then you think, well, alright, but for these guys, I mean, I always think that the team talk for Gareth Southgate in quarter-final would have been like, fucking hell, go make yourself legends. Because all you need to do is get into the semi and you're legends, you know what I mean? And the team talk for the semi is go make yourself fucking super legends, but they didn't quite come off.
I think what I've quite liked about it is we haven't, as a country, like from one media anyway, hasn't battered them. It was like this weird thing with it, again, and it's just an English thing.
Yeah.
Whereas every major competition I can remember, there's always been some scandal that they've sat on.
Yeah.
Until just like an Ashley Cole thing.
Yeah.
Or Rooney and his fucking hookers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's always right before a big thing.
Exactly, and they're waiting for it.
Yeah,
Like,
maximum profile, and then it's like, oh yeah, the fucking shit. And it's like,
There's still been dicks though, because do you remember that row about the team sheet, spying on the team sheet and getting the picture of that? I don't know if you've basically right near the start of the tournament for the Panama game. So it turned out that it didn't mean fuck all because we were playing Panama. We hammered them, didn't we? But the long lens zoomed in on the assistant manager holding the team sheet, and then they printed it. Yeah. And Southgate sort of said dead gently, like, it's not helpful, lads, is it really? Do you know what I mean? It's not exactly, it feels like you're working against us. But then, because on Twitter now you actually get to, suppose, reach like these football journalists. They're such a thin-skinned bunch of fucking prickly bastards. Yeah. And they were just arguing, saying that what they were doing was in the interest of reporting. And it's just like, no one else would be doing that. Yeah. And yeah, bunch of fools.